Hello everyone, it's Asa here from Romany Custom Catapults. So I'm going to do a video here on making a bandset. Bandsets revisited, let's say. I'm going to make a TTF bandset from scratch and OTT bandset from scratch, because people's moaned about my videos in the past not being clear. Also, I'm not going to use any fancy tapered rulers that I've used in the past. I'm just going to use a basic steel ruler, a cutting mat and a rotary cutter, which is pretty much all you'll need. I'm also using this for a constrictor knot. Now, a constrictor knot you can learn on YouTube quite easy how to do. I'm not going to show you how to do that, but this is what I'm using. It's fly back in line. It's very good quality. It kind of bends and flattens out and whatnot. It's really good stuff. I've used other back in line I don't like so much. So yeah, I'm currently using this, but my friend at Catapult Carnage, Mr. Chris Graffin, reckons you can get a nano paracord, which is a really tiny paracord, so you don't have to mess around taking the paracord strands out the middle. Available in loads of colours, so that could be worth a try, to be honest. The elastic we're using is a GZK 0.62. We'll get that there. And we're using GZK pouches, a 60mm pouch by 18mm. Now the cut I'm going with is going to be a 2015 taper. So with this bandset, it'll fire 9.5s and it'll fire 8mm. I don't know what, this bandsets are for little lads 11 and 12 years old. Ideally, I'd make a lot slimmer bandset from a lot thinner material, but little lads tend to then snap the elastic and then it breaks too quick. All they'll go, there's no power in this. Little kids all seem to want massive power, even though they can't hit a band door a lot of the time. So yeah, I'm just going to give them something that I think's a decent all-round. If I was going to make a bandset just for 9.5s or just for 7s or 8s, I would use a different cut. So, constrictor knots, I put them all on a pen, ready to go. You'll see why soon enough. Now here's a sheet I've cut already. I'm going to do that 150 active, so I'm going to cut off at 170, which leaves 10mm either end. So that bit's cut perfect. We'll cut another bit perfect to go on top. This band comes really level, so it's quite handy. Just have a little bit of a tinker around just to make sure we've got it as close as we can possibly get it. And we're cutting off at 180. I'm cutting off at 180 because I've put it 10mm further down. Now ideally you'd probably want to use a little bit thicker metal ruler than this, because you have to be really steady. Now some people pull the rotary cutter, I push, take your time, and there we have it. Now what I want to do, we'll get rid of that band because I don't think we'll need that now. I've actually just forgot something which I shall go up and get to keep these two bands together. We're going to need a little bit of water. So if you just bear with me 2 seconds, it's one thing I forgot to get. Now the reason we're using water is these two pieces of band will stick together quite good. That should do. Don't need loads. Now my hands are wet, so we're going to just lay that bit on there, like so. And we'll just, it would be handy to have that water in a nice little spray tub. Oh, that's moved, look. That should do the job. Now when I make these bands, different people say different things. They say tapering down one side is no good. I've tapered around one side and it's been absolutely perfect. I've had no issues whatsoever, but other people say otherwise. Now, like I say, I don't personally think you need to do it, but I'm going to do it on this video for the purpose of the people that say, oh, you should be tapering down both sides. So what I'm going to do we need to get a little bit off to get the taper first. So if I'm doing a 2015 taper, the difference is 5mm, so it would be 2.5mm each side. So I'm just going to make a little mark, 2.5mm. I want them to be perfectly level for this. Like so. Then what we're going to do is we're going to cut right from the corner up to that 2.5mm. So there you have it. Now we have a taper down that one side. So what we're going to do now, at the bottom of the band, I'm going to measure my 20mm just with a ruler, and then from that 20mm we'll measure a 15mm. I'm going to make 3 sets here, so then we'll go again with a 20. So yeah, you go from one to the other. So that's 20, then 15, then 20, and then on the top we need to start with 15, and then from there we'll go 20, and from there we'll go 15. Now you just basically put your ruler on your lines that you've drawn, like so. It doesn't have to be precision perfect because you're cutting 2 bands at once. As long as the 2 strips you're cutting match each other perfect, you'll be fine. That's one set of bands. That's 2 set of bands, and last but not least, that's 3 sets of bands done and dusted. Now like I say, that one might be a touch different than that one, and that one might be a touch different than that one. It'll only be a fraction out, but as long as the 2 bands match each other, you haven't got an issue. So then what we're going to do, I'm going to line these bands up on my cutting mat in their sets. Don't get the sets mixed up, that wouldn't be good. Just like this, quite simple to do, and you'll see the reason why in a minute. Different people do this all in different ways. Obviously this is the way I do it. It might not be the quickest, but it's the way I do it. I'm a bit of a stickler for sticking to my ways. So yeah. So what I'm going to do now, it's a bit too long now, pull that down a touch. On the bottom I'm going to do at 10mm. And at the top I'm going to do 10mm also. Now what I've noticed here, when I've put the 2 pieces of bands together, it might have been a tiny bit out, like 1/4 of a mil or something, because a couple's longer than the others by literally a fraction. But that doesn't make really a blind bit of difference, that this one is a fraction longer than that one, because the lines that I've just drew are all identical. So it'll be perfectly fine. Like I said, they don't have to be 1,000,000% perfect. Obviously to get them perfect is better, but these are as good enough. The tapers on each one are all the same, so that's all good. Right, now there's your band sets made. So pouch, constrictor knot, what I do is I slide it up to the end of the pouch. Now when you're using pouches, this pouch has got a different side, two different sides. You want to work out which side you want your knots on. I shoot knots in, majority of people shoot knots out. I'm making these for knots out, so just be conscious of what side you're going to put the knot on. So I just slide it over the pouch like so, with the knot on the outside. I'm going to have great fun trying to get this elastic through here. Now you can get little pliers and all sorts of stuff to help get it through, but I'm just going to have to pull it through like so, which is giving me grief. Right, now we're through. So now I'll find where my line is. Making this look fiddlier than what it actually is, purely because I'm trying to hold it where the camera is. These holes on these pouches are really tight. Right, then we fold. Just a nice even fold. You make sure that line is fitting in with your pouch. Once I've got the fold sorted, I slide the knot over the elastic, and you won't be able to see me do this, but I'm going to get one end in my teeth and the other end in my hand. I'll try and do it. I don't pull it too tight, I just pull it enough to then adjust. So then I'll slide that knot back down like so, pull in nice and tight, and then that's that side done. And what I'll do is I'll do the other side again. Slide the knot over. Make sure you're putting your band in the right way to match this side. And then we'll have a little bit of stress trying to get this in here again. Feels weird for me to be using quite a thick elastic with me using such thin elastic over the last couple of years. Alright, we're through. That one went through a little bit easier. Again, you'll see the line on your band. Just get your line right where the edge of the pouch is. Make sure you get everything level, which is easier said than done with these little holes. Fold. Slide me knot back down. And again, get it right where it needs to be. And then what I do is I'll just stride it down to match the other side. And away you go. Then we'll get the rotary cutter. We'll snip off a bit of that. And a bit of these ends. Like so. Now what I would normally do is then melt those ends back. When you're melting the ends back, be really careful you don't mess your band up, but I would melt those back with a lighter and away I'd go. But I haven't got a good lighter at the minute. The lighter we've got is like a blowtorch, and I don't want to risk damaging the band, so that's it done. They won't come loose. You don't need to melt them. It's just for aesthetics, really. And there you go. That bandset's perfect. So that's one done. Now let's do a TTF one. Now I'm not really going to enjoy doing this TTF one little bit, to be honest with you, because I just hate doing TTF bandsets. But we'll give it a go. So again, we'll get the knot on. It's been a long time since I've made a TTF bandset, really has. I wonder if I just push a pencil in there, if that would just widen that up a bit. I doubt it. Right, same method. Get your band in, like so. You find your line, but the difference is on a TTF bandset you don't do a straightforward fold over. What you kind of do, you fold one bit in the middle and then the other bit over the top of that. So it's kind of like a double fold, which I personally think makes it a lot more awkward. But some would argue otherwise. I suppose if you get used to doing them, then it's alright. So right, there's me double fold. Slide me knot over. I don't know why people use jigs anymore, I'll be honest with you. I'll adjust it to where I want it to be. And there you have a TTF bandset. As you can see now, it pulls different. If you look at the fold on this one, it pulls like so. You can see just a simple straightforward fold. That focuses. And then this one pulls like that. So I'll try and get it to, there we go. See that fold? It's different than that fold, because that one mounts over the top and this one mounts on the side, so yeah, it pulls like that. So I'll just do this other side and then that's the video pretty much complete. I think I've pretty much covered everything on making an OTT bandset and a TTF one. As for various tapers, you do whatever suits you really. You go on Facebook groups, YouTube, excuse me, and you will find out various tapers which will suit you better and ones that won't, and you just go from there. Same as cutting band length. I mean, if you want to work out your active band length, I always say get a tape measure, hold the tape measure in one hand, draw the line back to where your anchor point is, and then divide that, the inches amount, whatever it is in inches, divide that by 6. That's a good rule of thumb to go with any flat elastic. If it's too short, you can add a bit. If it's too long, you can take a bit off. So yeah, it's a good way of finding out where you need to be. I mean, personally, I wouldn't recommend making bandsets like this. If it was up to me, I would just buy one of the various tapered rulers that you can get online, or templates and stuff like that. They really are cheap to buy, so I don't see why you'd want to make a bandset doing it this old-fashioned way. But what I'm just trying to demonstrate really is you don't need fancy equipment to make them. This is why I hate making TTF bandsets. Funny enough, we just got Mr. Chris Graffin trying to ring me now on the phone. Hello?
I have met
yes.
a 7-year-old version of you.
You've met a 7-year-old version of me. This will be interesting because I'm currently making a video for YouTube and you're on loudspeaker. While I'm just finishing this TTF bandset off that I really don't want to do, but
No, you can't put this on YouTube.
yes, this is going on YouTube, son.
No, I can't put it on YouTube.
Yeah, it's going on YouTube. What's this 7-year-old like of me? Oh no. Oh, is this 7-year-old something you can say on camera or not?
No.
In that case, we'll keep that till later.
Yes, cut this next bit.
Yeah.
From here on out, we're going to cut, right? Cut.
Yes.
This.
You know that's not going to happen.
This man, right, months of the year.
Yes.
To go to Thailand for 4 months every year.
Which sounds like a very sensible man.
Very sensible man.
Yeah.
He goes straight to Thailand.
Yeah.
With 9 months' wages, or what he's needed to keep himself living the 9 months.
Yeah.
Blows the lot. Beer, gear, and women.
Oh, well. He's obviously a man that's enjoying himself.
Fucking £40 a week.
Right, wait there 1 minute, Chris. Right, there's a TTF bandset done. I rushed that other side a little bit because Chris is on the phone, but as you can see, that is done pretty much perfect if you want to make TTF bandsets. So I think I've pretty much covered everything in this video with OTT and TTF. Any questions, just drop a message. Asa is over and out.